For over a century, Begonia rajah has been admired in cultivation. But its true origins remained a mystery.
Its exact location was never documented. The only clue? A vague herbarium label accompanying the original specimen that read Terengganu, collected by a native collector in 1892, with no additional details.
For decades, botanists sought to uncover Begonia rajah's origins, driven by its elusive nature and horticultural significance. But in their pursuit, they instead discovered a new species, Begonia reginula.
To tell its story, we must travel to Malaysia. We're currently in Malaysia, heading towards a forested area where Begonia reginula might be found.
Begonia reginula, like many forest begonias, thrive in pristine, undisturbed habitats. Yet today, less than 20% of Malaysia's forest cover remains as primary forest, leaving the future of these plants in a constant state of uncertainty. We have a general idea of where to look, but these plants don't just grow anywhere. So finding them won't be a walk in the park. We've made it to the river. Let's cross over and see what we find. The begonias we are searching for thrive along streams, clinging to boulders that stay moist year-round. But with rivers stretching across vast distances, not every spot is suitable. We'll need to be strategic, focusing on sections where the conditions are just right.
Oh look, there's a begonia. This isn't Begonia reginula, but this is Begonia hortomii. It's a fairly widespread species that can sometimes be found near streams or other sources of water. A good indication we're in the right kind of habitat. This spot looks great. Mossy boulders are everywhere. But unfortunately there are no begonias, so we have to keep on searching.
Moss-covered boulders like these are a strong indicator of constant moisture, which is exactly what begonias need. If conditions are stable enough, Begonia reginula could be somewhere nearby.
This area looks promising. Let's head upstream and take a closer look. I think there's something growing on the rocks over there. This is Begonia reginula, which means we're definitely in the right spot. However, this is just a small population, not the main one. Let's head upstream and see if we can find the main population.
Though these plants thrive in the damp environment near streams, they do not come into direct contact with it. Instead, they position themselves just beyond the flood zone, avoiding submersion and the harsh impact of rising waters.
We have finally reached the main population.
This area is about 50 to 60 meters above the stream, nestled around a cluster of granite boulders. Begonia reginula closely resembles Begonia rajah. In fact, when botanists first discovered this species in 1986, they initially believed it was rajah. However, after comparing both species' morphology, they realized it was something entirely different and named it Begonia reginula, the Queen Begonia.
The key difference between the two lies in the number of tepals. Rajah has 4, while reginula has only 2.
The name reginula was inspired by its resemblance to rajah, but with smaller leaves. Rajah means king in Sanskrit, while reginula means little queen in Latin. Essentially a botanical interplay of king and queen within the begonia family. The Queen Begonia is an obligate lithophyte, meaning it grows exclusively on rocks. But it has a particular preference for the angled surfaces of boulders. And the reason is quite simple. Begonia seeds and seedlings are incredibly tiny. If they germinated on flat surfaces, they could easily be smothered by falling leaves or overshadowed by larger plants. Their tiny seeds give them a competitive edge by allowing them to cling to the sides of rocks, where larger seeds can't.
But there's another benefit to growing on angled rock surfaces: drainage.
The begonia's roots are less likely to become waterlogged, particularly during the monsoon season when Malaysia experiences nearly constant heavy rainfall for months at a time.
With so many seemingly suitable spots along the river, why aren't they more widespread?
There are a couple of reasons. First, Begonia reginula has very specific growing requirements, which limit where it can thrive. Not every part of the forest is suitable, so the plants are confined to small, localized areas like this one. But an additional factor is its limited seed dispersal. The begonia's seed capsules work like a pepper shaker, releasing seeds with the slightest movement of wind or rain. However, these seeds don't travel far, only spreading within a small radius around the parent plant. As a result, the begonia remains largely confined to these small, isolated pockets.
However, being isolated has some interesting consequences.
With no opportunity to exchange genetic material between different populations, each group can start to evolve independently. Over time, this leads to slight differences in their appearance and characteristics.
To illustrate this, we're going to visit another population at a different location. made our way to another location, and already we can see some noticeable differences.
The earlier specimens had larger, darker leaves, while the ones here are smaller with more angular shapes. Despite these differences in size and colour, flower morphology remains rather consistent across both populations. These begonias are far from common. Like the previous population, they only occupy small, localized areas. This makes them an important indicator species for forest health, as they only thrive in pristine environments. As Malaysia continues to experience growth and development, the remaining areas of primary forest are increasingly at risk. Land conversion threatens these fragile ecosystems. As the forest becomes fragmented, we are reminded of the importance of protecting the incredible biodiversity they hold. While the future remains uncertain, there is still hope that we can continue to appreciate and preserve these unique species and natural treasures for years to come. With awareness and effort, we can ensure that the beauty of the Queen Begonia and other wonders of nature are not lost to time.